You've probably heard of The Line, the $500 billion megacity rising in the Saudi desert. A linear city 170 kilometers long and just 200 meters wide, designed to house up to 9 million people inside its mirrored walls. It's one of the most ambitious and controversial urban plans in modern history. And while construction is already underway, recent reports suggest that the project is being scaled back, with only a fraction of the original population targets expected to be reached by 2030. But while The Line has dominated headlines, a very different kind of future city is quietly being proposed, not in the desert, but in a forest. This is the Smart Forest City, a plan to build a fully sustainable urban settlement from the ground up on a 557-hectare site once reserved for a shopping mall. Here, the buildings won't be wrapped in glass, but surrounded by trees. And while The Line imagines a futuristic city carved into the desert, this one is rooted in something far more familiar: nature. Today, we'll explore what makes the Smart Forest City different, how it works, who's behind it, and why some believe it could quietly shape the next era of sustainable urban design. At first glance, Smart Forest City might sound like another utopian concept, one of those polished renders that never moves beyond the blueprint. But take a closer look, and the scale becomes hard to ignore. This isn't a district or a tech park. It's a full-scale city, master-planned from scratch across 557 hectares of land, roughly the size of 7 central parks. Saudi Arabia's The Line made waves for its radical form, a 170-kilometer straight corridor where nature is pushed out and everything is packed inward. This city takes the opposite approach. Instead of building up and sealing in, Smart Forest City spreads greenery out through 7.5 million plants, including 260,000 trees. Over 400 species, carefully selected for biodiversity and local adaptation, create a living laboratory of regional ecology. That's more than 2 trees per resident, woven into public parks, green roofs, facades, and even interiors. And it's not just aesthetic. This vast green layer is expected to absorb more than 100,000 tons of CO2 per year, turning the city itself into a kind of urban carbon sink. But the most radical part isn't just what's growing on top. It's how the city's core systems are woven into the landscape itself. The Line has promised to run on renewable energy and AI-controlled utilities. But Smart Forest City proposes something more analog and arguably more achievable. A solar panel ring surrounds the entire site, supplying all the city's energy needs. No power plants, no distant grid connections, no massive transmission corridors. And when it comes to water, rather than pulling from overstressed local aquifers, the city will use a desalination tower to draw seawater, convert it, and pump it through a series of navigable canals. These canals aren't just for moving water, they double as flood barriers, transport routes, and open-air public space. They're also lined with aquatic gardens, designed not just for beauty, but to absorb excess rainfall and reduce the risk of flooding, which is a growing concern in the Yucatan Peninsula. It's infrastructure you can see and interact with, not something hidden underground. And that philosophy doesn't stop at energy or water. It extends to something even more essential: food. Food logistics are rarely part of futuristic city plans, but this one puts agriculture at the edge of the city, not at the end of a global supply chain. Using irrigated farmland, the city aims to produce its own food, cutting emissions and reducing dependency on imports. Waste too is treated differently. With a zero-waste policy, Smart Forest City plans to recycle or repurpose all byproducts on-site, from household trash to organic matter and construction materials. It also aims to operate as a closed-loop system, where food waste nourishes crops and water and energy are constantly cycled, thanks to local desalination and battery-backed solar storage for round-the-clock power. The plan also envisions the use of smart sensors to track usage patterns, helping optimize water flow, energy demands, and even daily comfort, like suggesting the best time to run appliances based on sun exposure and grid loads. Where the line leans into centralization and vertical layering, Smart Forest City is built to be open, flexible, and distributed. To make this work, the city will host a research and innovation hub, attracting universities, startups, and environmental organizations. Instead of a city of consumers, it's designed to be a city of creators. A project of this scale doesn't happen without a strong vision and the right team behind it. The Smart Forest City was designed by Stefano Borri, the Italian architect best known for his vertical forest towers in Milan and other cities around the world. But here, the idea was flipped. Instead of trees climbing up a single building, Borri's team imagined an entire city where nature surrounds the built environment horizontally and at scale. And Borri isn't working alone. The master plan brings together an international team of specialists. Transolar from Germany is handling energy and climate systems. Laura Gatti, a botanist and landscape architect, is selecting and organizing the city's 400-plus plant species. And Mike Hub, based in Milan, is designing the international mobility network where private cars are left at the city's edge. But while the design may be global, the development is being driven locally. The entire project was commissioned by Grupo Carums, a multinational company with deep ties in Latin America and the Middle East, known for textiles and large-scale real estate ventures. They own the land, they're funding the design, and they're leading the push for approvals. Unlike The Line, backed by Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, Smart Forest City is being developed without state oil money. There's no confirmed budget as of mid-2025, and no formal cost estimates have been released publicly. Still, given the scale, most experts agree this is likely a multi-billion-dollar venture. That raises a question. Where will the money come from? Grupo Carums is positioned as the lead investor, but the city's future will depend on its ability to attract others, including private firms, academic institutions, and research foundations. The city is also planned to include a range of housing types, from affordable student housing to family units, aimed at creating a socially mixed, research-oriented community around sustainability and innovation. Not just a place to live, but a platform for companies, universities, and NGOs to set up shop. Eventually, some funding may come through public-private partnerships, especially for the city's research hub and infrastructure layers. And unlike many green city proposals, this one doesn't rely on speculative property sales or tourism. It's designed to operate like a long-term campus, with value created by knowledge, not just real estate. Smart Forest City was first unveiled in 2018, with renderings, technical plans, and environmental goals laid out by Stefano Borri's team. At the time, the response was mixed, praised by some as a visionary step toward green urbanism, and dismissed by others as too idealistic to be built. Now, nearly 7 years later, no construction has begun. As of 2025, the project remains in the regulatory approval phase, with Mexican authorities reviewing its feasibility, environmental impacts, and land use permissions. And that's where the challenge begins. The land, although privately owned and previously zoned for commercial development, now faces stricter environmental oversight. Changing its designation to support a city of 130,000 people, even a green one, is not a small ask. And unlike The Line, which moved quickly from announcement to excavation thanks to top-down authority, Smart Forest City has to navigate a more complex and democratic process. Still, the development is designed for flexibility. The city is divided into 5 zones, allowing phased construction that could begin as soon as approvals are secured. It doesn't need to be built all at once. It doesn't even need to be fully complete to start functioning. In many ways, Smart Forest City feels like the inverse of The Line. Where The Line pushes for hyper-dense, linear living with mirrored walls and sealed environments, this project leans into openness, biodiversity, and integration with nature. One is a bet on vertical technology, the other is a bet on horizontal ecology. And while the line is already under construction, with machines carving through the Saudi desert, Smart Forest City is still waiting for approval. But in a world facing resource stress and urban sprawl, the question isn't which one will be built faster, it's which vision will prove more livable in the long run. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing if you want to see more MegaBuild stories. And which vision would you rather live in? A vertical mirror city in the desert or a forest-powered hub in the jungle? Let us know in the comments, and thank you for watching.